What is going on, guys? Next week is going to be absolutely insane in the market. We have seen an insane last few days in the market, and next week is going to be no different. We are going to see absolute pandemonium in the market as all these companies go ahead and announce earnings. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to take a look at all these companies, go through day by day what company is going to be announcing earnings, which ones I am watching, and which ones I kind of expect to have large impacts on the market. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. So real quick, as I mentioned in the intro, we have seen a crazy last couple of days. The market is down to $426.04, and it's kind of been dropping over the last week. So on Friday, we saw a downward move of 2.74%, and that comes on the back of a lot of Fed talk about basically increasing rates quicker than expected, and that has overall had a negative impact on the market. And over the last 5 days, you can see on Thursday, we're having a positive, move in the market up all the way through until Thursday. And then Thursday, we topped off at about 449 and just had a sharp decline across Thursday and Friday, all the way down to 426. This is a huge move for the S&P 500, that we're looking at right here. And this is all coming into earnings. We're seeing this kind of crazy move, people almost anticipating a lot of bad news for Q1 and really going forward with these increases in rates. So let's take a look at these companies that are announcing next week and kind of give our feedback on what we think is going to be announced and how it could affect the market. So on Monday, there are really only two companies that are worth noting, and those are Coca-Cola and Activision Blizzard. And honestly, even Activision Blizzard is not really worth noting. So they were acquired, or they're in the process of being acquired by Microsoft, who actually announces on Tuesday. So the earnings here are not going to be very important in terms of the stock. They've already, announced that they're going to buy shares. I believe it's at $95. Buy all of Activision Blizzard at $95 a share. And right now the stock's been sitting, around 80. So there's still potential upside there, and that kind of has to do with, uncertainty whether the Microsoft trade is going to go through, or sale is going to basically go through. And if it does, then the stock will bounce up and just sit at that 95 mark. But really the earnings shouldn't have a huge impact on anything. The only thing left is really if the SEC and the Federal Trade Commission, if they determine that, Microsoft is taking or creating a monopoly on like the gaming industry by acquiring Activision Blizzard, then that could get blocked, and then you could see a big move in Activision Blizzard. But overall, these earnings are kind of relatively unimportant. So Coca-Cola is really the only company, worth noting. I mean, Whirlpool is decent. They have a good dividend and are a decent stock. They obviously have a lot of appliances, but overall, you're not going to get a lot of info from that. Coca-Cola is more of a staple company. They're going to have continued growth and kind of just keep going over the years, growing the company with solid balance sheet and kind of solid all around. So there's shouldn't be any, thing crazy going on Monday. If Coca-Cola comes out and says something, weird, that inflation's affecting their business significantly, something like that, then maybe you could see something significant. But for Monday, I see it as a relatively, quiet day. Tuesday is where it gets very, very, very exciting. So before open, we actually have a large number of companies, and all of these companies in here are, staple dividend companies. You have PepsiCo, 3M, Valero, Raytheon, Waste Management, ADM, all these companies, and UPS obviously being the biggest. UPS last time had a huge effect on the market because they announced very solid numbers. They announced basically that they were having a lot of, seeing a lot of increase in volume of people shipping items. And that had a huge effect on the market overall because basically, it pointed to good signs that there are good growth and good things going on. So overall, that would be the kind of the first one to look at. So going into Tuesday, you could see if UPS, has another very solid earnings and announces a lot of positivity going forward, that could have a drastic impact, going into Tuesday, and then, throughout the day on Tuesday. And then after close, you actually have Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa, GM, Chipotle, Texas Instruments, and then, some of these other companies. Those are really the big ones. The big three up here are going to be the real ones to watch. Visa is going to, determine a lot of these other companies like PayPal and MasterCard. So if they have really good earnings, you could easily see a lot of these other two companies, PayPal and MasterCard, spike up on the same news before they even announce. And then honestly, if they have bad announcements, which PayPal will be one to watch, then that could drastically, drive the stock back down. But Visa will be the first one of kind of payment companies announcing their earnings. Alphabet obviously is going to be massive, and Microsoft, they're going to really set the tone, for just overall how the market's going to react. They could have an effect, on Meta, and then also you could see something obviously transpiring to Apple and Amazon being other large tech companies. So Microsoft and Alphabet, personally, I do own both of these. I actually own all three of these, so these will be the first ones that I'll be very, very interested in, and kind of going forward, seeing where their company aligns. The biggest thing to watch out for is if these companies are actually concerned, or if they're not concerned with growing inflation and things like that. So that'll be a huge key, and that'll move the market throughout Wednesday and after hours on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have Boeing, Spotify, T-Mobile, Harley Davidson, and then that's before open. And then after close, we have really the big dogs. So we have Meta being the biggest. I personally do own Meta. PayPal, I do not own PayPal, but I've been keeping a very close eye on it. Ford has been an interesting play recently. Qualcomm, another interesting play. Pinterest, obviously being another social media company, that'll be interesting. Las Vegas Sands, gambling company. A lot of kind of big companies in here that are, staple names that everyone's kind of heard of. Meta and Facebook, basically that's going to be the biggest company here and be very, very telling. That stock has been beaten down. I believe it's sitting around like 180 to 190, somewhere in that range recently. And I've been adding shares, and honestly, it's going to be very interesting about where their earnings are at. We saw Netflix obviously drop in subscribers. It would be kind of crazy to see Meta or Facebook, see a downtick in users. Things like that could negatively, obviously, affect their earnings and could drive the stock even lower. But they've kind of already built some of that into the stock by, saying, portraying this negativity around the market last earnings in their Q4 earnings. So it'll be interesting to see. My prediction would be that Meta will come out with probably, very just neutral earnings. And I think it'll honestly not really have a huge effect on the stock. I think we'll see it kind of trade sideways, maybe trade down after earnings, just because it'll be very bland in my opinion. And then honestly after that, just kind of bounce back up and kind of sit around this 180 level. If it keeps dropping lower, I'm happy to buy more. Honestly, I love Meta. I think it's a great company over the long term. And PayPal is another one that I'm very interested in. I would love to see this one drop even more. It's already down huge. Absolutely a crazy amount. I would love to see it though have another bad kind of portrayal of earnings, and then basically open the door for me to load shares on this company, because I would love to own this as kind of a more spec play to kind of offset the stableness of Visa in my portfolio. So overall, that's kind of what I'm seeing for Wednesday. I could see, a lot of different things. I think this will be a very shake-up day. I'm kind of not expecting a whole lot from these companies. I'm expecting kind of good things. And honestly, I don't think the market's going to react very much to good things. So I think Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa, I think they'll have overall positivity, and UPS, I think will have positivity towards the market and how the economy is going. But I don't think that's going to have a huge effect on the market. I think everyone's kind of looking at it as negative. I just want to actually look at what they're saying, listen to what they're saying, and digest it for what it actually is, and not how the market takes it. And then we run into Thursday. So Thursday, you have Twitter, Caterpillar, Nokia, Southwest, MasterCard, McDonald's, Merck, a few other companies, and then Domino's down here. So a lot of big names also announcing on Thursday. None of these have real potential to move the market. Like we talked about, MasterCard should kind of be determined already through Visa and PayPal. That people should have a good idea of where they're going to sit at. Merck, not really anymore a big name because of how things have kind of died down. Domino's, you should kind of have some feedback from Chipotle. Same for McDonald's, depending on how Chipotle is doing. They should kind of affect those earnings. So overall, nothing really crazy before open. The only thing that will be interesting is Twitter, to see if they have any response to Elon Musk. That would be kind of funny if they say something or mention something during their earnings announcement that could actually send the stock either soaring or dropping like crazy. If they bash Elon Musk, or if they actually come out and say we're strongly considering this deal or something. being bought out by Elon, that could set the stock very high. So it'll just be interesting and kind of comical to see how things happen there with Twitter. After hours, that's where things get crazy again. So we have Apple, Amazon, Intel. I'm really interested in Robinhood because honestly, these other two companies, Amazon should be solid. That could have a big move up. Like we saw last time. Overall, it could have a big move up and then drop back down, like we again saw in Q4 earnings. Apple, I'm not really expecting a whole lot. I think they'll have solid earnings. It'll be crazy if they announce something super super good or super super bad. That's really the only way I see Apple moving quite a lot. And if Apple moves quite a lot, we could see the market tank there. So as long as there's no surprise, I don't really see anything that affecting the market a whole lot. Robinhood is where I'm kind of more interested. I personally do own Robinhood. I do own Apple. I do not own Amazon. But Robinhood I do own some shares of, and I'll be interested to see overall how what their feel is. Are they positive about things going forward? Are they positive about growing users? Do they have maybe they're going to be positive for EPS for kind of the first times? I don't really see that being a possibility, but I think it's going to be a lot larger focus on user growth and continuing user growth. So overall, that's kind of the one company that I'll be watching on Thursday. And finally, we have Friday, which Friday is actually kind of an interesting day. So the ExxonMobil, Chevron, and then you have Colgate, Palmer, AbbVie, a few interesting names, Phillips 66. So these three companies are the ones I'm really watching: ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Phillips 66. I think if they come out and actually announce kind of poor earnings, and honestly, not necessarily poor earnings, I think they will have good earnings, obviously with everything going on and gas prices being so high. But what'll be interesting is if they announce poor projections going forward, because if they're announcing that they're going to have poorer earnings in the forward next few quarters, then really what that says is they're expecting gas prices to fall, oil prices to fall, things like that will negatively affect their business. And overall, that could be a positive for the economy. People spending less money on gas and spending more money on these other things like a new iPhone, things on Amazon that they might be buying on a platform like PayPal, spending more time, buying things on Meta, other things like that. So overall, I think these three earnings will be interesting because if they actually project that they're going to have strong earnings, for the next couple quarters, I think it's actually probably a bad thing overall for the market because I think, again, it just means more money out of people's pockets. So I think if they announce kind of that a positivity going forward, I think you could see the market kind of actually react in a negative way, even though these companies will actually probably react in a positive way. So overall, kind of that's my take on the market. I think it'll be a very up and down market. I could see Tuesday being a very positive day. I could see Wednesday being actually a very negative day with Meta and PayPal announcing earnings. I think there's a lot of pessimism towards those stocks. And then Thursday, I think you could see another up move in the market. I think MasterCard and McDonald's, they could have good earnings before the market, and then Apple and Amazon at the end of the market, end of the day on Thursday, I think having a very positive outlook. And then Friday, like I said, I think you could see the market drop again, going throughout Friday. So overall, I hope you did enjoy the video. Let me know what your perspective is. Which of these companies are you actually looking out for? Which ones do you own? Which ones are you interested to see, and hear what they have to say about the company and the overall economy? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. Otherwise, as always, have a wonderful rest of your day.